Attention. Go.
And they're off. Eton really early at the first stroke, drawing long, steady strokes out at the start.
And you can hear it on the audio here, but when you're down at the start, that noise is intense when you have 8 going off the blocks like that, don't you? The noise, the rush of the water, the sound of the oars clonking in the gates there, that close-up on Reading Bluecoats there, you can see them. It's full-on power at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, they really have attacked it out of the blocks there. Nice bandanas there, and the 3 and the 4C of the Reading Bluecoat 8.
Yeah, they look pretty radical, don't they? They look like they're out there ready to race.
And here Eton, the class crew of national schools, and here straight away they're into a long rhythm, and they're clear water ahead on Reading Bluecoat already.
So Reading will have raced earlier, or yesterday in their first round had a good win against Pangbourne, didn't they? But Eton College being a seeded crew, this is obviously their first race of this regatta, and I guess they've been boxing this up, they've been bottling it up, and now is the day that they can unleash this, and they're off.
Yeah, they are. I mean, in fact, 6 of the crew have raced here before, so that's got to be an advantage for Eton as well, in terms of calming nerves and that kind of thing. 2 of the boys in the Reading Bluecoats, Findorf and McLean, also have raced here before. But Eton, they've been the fastest school 8 so far this year. This is kind of what we expected on paper.
Yeah, it's a very strong programme at Eton, isn't it? Obviously, with their sort of their performance centre up at Dorney Lake, Mark Fagan Hall as well, coach. You know, he's got a lot of international success behind him, as well as coaching at Queen's Belfast. He's coached over at Mercantile in the US. Coached some of the Rio athletes as well for the Rio Olympic Games.
Yeah, he coached the Australian 8 in Rio.
Yeah, so I mean that's a hell of a lot of experience there in their chief coach, and then obviously with athletes who've had a couple of goes at Henley before as well. You know, there's a lot of experience there behind that light blue of Eton.
So what do you see in this 8 that's good about why they're generating so much boat speed?
Oh, I think it's very nicely sequenced, isn't it? And there's a nice pickup there. Again, with this camera angle we've got here of the sort of the stern of the boat, you can just see it sort of lift fairly instantaneously once the blades hit the water, which is always a nice sign, isn't it? You know, a nice sort of pickup and off we go.
So when you say the word sequencing, what do you mean for that for the layman?
Sequencing, yeah, it's good. So yeah, timing, or sort of, you know, rowing within the rhythm of the boat. So it's that sort of knowing when you're approaching the very stern of the boat, and you make sure you get your oars in, you get the oars covered and locked onto the water, rather than sort of waiting around too long and letting the boat sink too far into the water. It's just sort of catching the boat at the ideal time, really. And so we're sort of talking about a sequence, I guess. Talking about sequencing of the oar to the water, basically, to keep the boat moving.
And here Reading still, you see, slightly more ragged with their blade work, still committing themselves to the race down here. But Eton, they're making good work of this, aren't they? You can see the blade work there, it's very clean.
Yeah, Eton, very well drilled crew there, but great to see the Reading Bluecoats boys out there racing too, and they're not going to let Eton get away easily. You know, it's been a big old week for schoolboys this year. I mean, obviously having A-level results or GCSE results this week, having a Henley, having not had a Henley last year, you know, this is a big week for these guys. So great to see them out here racing.
And it has been, but it's also been different for them, because quite often they've been taking A-levels right up into Henley Royal for racing. Whereas this year they've actually had 5 or 6 weeks of rowing with their friends with no studying or exam pressure.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. I wonder, that must be a lovely experience, not to have all that pressure of exams and racing around, you know. So, although sometimes I sort of hark back, if I can remember that far back, when I was doing exams and rowing, I think sometimes a row on the water was a really nice detox from revision or from exam stress. So, but as you say, they've had a long stint without any schoolwork to get in the way, actually. So,
and it's impressive, isn't it, these young boys and the girls as well, when the fact that they come and race at a regatta of this calibre, but they spend their whole summer term training 10 times a week to try and race at a world-class level, but they're still having to deal with the schoolwork, which is kind of what the skills you need for life, isn't it, really, afterwards?
Just thinking that, as you said it, Adrian, it's a great sort of set of experiences to learn at that age. And again, talking of skills, I was just watching, you know, how beautiful actually it looked there when the Eton crew were just swooping past there. Got Reading Bluecoats there, still trying to hang in there, rating a little bit higher than Eton. But if you look at Eton College in the light blue there on the left, they're just a bit more relaxed. And look at them, look at that picture there. they look chilled, don't they? That's a crew ready to race another day.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they were hoping for today, having an aggressive first 2 or 3 minutes to really get yourself settled into the regatta and then not have to use too much energy in the second half of the course.
Yeah, you want to fire up those rockets and get them working for the week ahead, because I'm sure they'll have some pretty tough races ahead of them. But this, they've sort of controlled this very well here, and now they're giving us a very good example of school rowing.
So, as a coach, how would you prepare a crew like Reading Blue Coat, who you know on paper that the chances of you winning are pretty minimal, but obviously it's important to race and you want to do your best?
Yeah, I think like you said, doing your best is a big part of that. I think for them, representing that school at Henley is a fantastic achievement in itself, and you know that's a wonderful thing to do, to get a school crew, an 8. You know, there's nothing quite like that feeling of representing your school in an 8, and they'll have loads of friends and family back home that are supporting them and cheering them on, and hopefully, you know, they'll have all these lovely memories of racing down the track, and you know, they're racing one of the best. You know, it's a great opportunity to go in and race one of the top form crews. So they'll be lapping that up, and look at them there. They're still giving it a good go. Still knocking on the door, trying to give Eton some aggro.
It shows a standard, doesn't it? Because 4 of the guys in the Reading Blue Coat school actually got silver medal in the Cox Scores in national schools. So they were medalists in national schools, and they won the Junior 8 Mile Regatta. So they've had a really productive season as well.
Yeah, they filled the trophy cabinet, haven't they?
They certainly have. And here, as we come down to the last few strokes of the race, Eton College really have this race in hand, well within themselves, coming down the enclosures. Reading Blue Coat coming down to the last few strokes as well.
A lot of good support on the bank there, isn't there? It's great to see both crews getting cheered on and clapped by the crowds.
Indeed, and it's a win there by Eton College boat club, by overlap in the end to Reading Blue Coat School in the heat of the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup.